a new expansion means a new cinematic to explain and new cards to talk about. What the heck is that? I know I say this every single time, but this time around there is not a lot to talk about, since the story in this cinematic is relatively straightforward. But unlike the last cinematic, which really just showcased what Zillion can do, this one actually has a story. And since this is tied to Echo, who will later get his own game called Convergence, there is the possibility that this is a very early setup for the story of that game. So now, as always, without further ado, let's have a look at what exactly this new cinematic reveals, and let's have a look at some of the cool Easter eggs here. It starts with a shot of a hooded person, whom we know is Echo, walking into a bar, which is likely one of the places which we have already seen in one of the Zonaite cards. Here we see the two agents of the Black Rose, which both also got their own cards. Now, at first I thought that they were moving pieces across a map, as they are talking about their battle plan. However, after checking out the placement of these figures, as well as the table itself, you may notice that the two are actually playing some kind of a Noxian tabletop game. You can even see that the figures on both sides are the exact same, just the figures on one side are silver and the other ones are gold. The thing beneath the pieces is not the table, that is actually the board of the game. We will get a better shot of that later. But I just find it funny that these two, as they are plotting some evil schemes, actually have time to play board games. Of course, both of them have the sigil of the Black Rose on their ring. This icon is shown everywhere around them, including on the board of the game itself. Though funnily enough, as they move the pieces around, the placement is kinda strange. I thought that maybe each of these windows would be a place where she could place that figure, but she just placed it in the middle of like 3 different spots, so I have no idea how this game is supposed to be played. Anyway, as they talk about their shipment, which is on its way as they speak, we get a cut to the shipment itself. Once again, it has the logo of the Black Rose on it, and the shipment contains a lot of crates full of hexite crystals. Now, the hexite crystals are something new to us. We can assume that these are not the synthetic hextech crystals which the Zonites are creating, because these actually come from the desert, which means that these are real hextech gems. But maybe since they are chopped into smaller pieces, that's why they are called hexite crystals. Regardless, it is funny to see that the Black Rose hired only one man to bring them the crates. Since it is supposed to be something really valuable, one would guess they would get an entire escort. And what's even better, that shipment gets randomly interrupted by Rek'Sai. So no, their shipment is not on its way. The two just don't know it yet. Then they talk about some devices which are supposed to be connected to the other shipment. And the woman says that she found the perfect crew for that. Then it cuts to the crew.
Don't worry, I found the perfect crew for the job.
There is a couple of things that we can mention here. First of all, the captain has the sigil of the Black Rose on their head, which means that they were fully abducted or brainwashed by the Black Rose. But what many people miss in this scene is that yes, based on the laugh, you can see that the captain is absolutely crazy, but the craziness is further underlined by the fact that he is shooting bottles that are standing on barrels of black powder. If he missed, the entire ship would explode. Yeah, the Black Rose doesn't really have a talent for finding responsible people. Regardless, what's cool about this shot specifically is that this scene was shown in the first teaser with Zillion. There, in one of his visions, you can actually see this exact ship. That was a really cool foreshadowing on Riot's part. Anyway, here, the crates with the devices once again have the logo of the Black Rose on them. And the devices themselves look quite close to the Hextech batteries which you can find on Universe. Though instead of cubes, these are just pyramids. And this is when Pike is introduced. I strongly doubt that Pike would be killing members of the Black Rose on purpose. His story is still the same. He is killing people because he himself went crazy. And he thinks that everyone in Bilgewater has their name on his list of people who betrayed him. So once again, this shipment that was heading to the Black Rose was interrupted on accident. And once again, they just don't know it. Then it is revealed that one of them already has one of the devices with the hexite crystal inside it. Unfortunately, this doesn't really reveal the purpose of this device, but the woman says that after they are done here, they would raise this district to the ground. Of course, by this district, they are talking about Zone. So this actually reveals that the Black Rose, for one reason or another, wants to get rid of Zone. Or if not Zone, just this part of Zone. This could be because Noxians in general are trying to invade Piltover. They already have some spies in the most wealthiest of Piltover families. This was revealed in the old Progress Day story. And also they are in contact with people such as Singed, who, if you don't know, is actually a Piltover professor. So maybe there is something in Zone that is trying to stop Noxus from entering Piltover. Though the grander scheme of this storyline is still a mystery. This is why at the beginning of this story I mentioned that you should remember that Echo is getting his own game, Convergence. That's because all of this that is happening right here may eventually lead into that game. It is very well possible that the point of the Convergence game will be that the Black Rose is trying to invade Zone, and perhaps they are trying to destroy it. And Echo seems to be the guy that is capable of stopping them. Speaking of which, that's when Echo reveals himself. I have to say, I kinda really like the character they gave Echo here. He really acts and looks like a childish troll, and it is so fitting. I believe the point of this scene of Echo showing them his own device is that it is supposed to show us that his device, which is powered with Hextech, shines with the same color as the Noxian device, which would reveal that the Noxian device is also powered with Hextech. It's just a really tiny detail, but I quickly wanted to mention that this means that both of them are the same kind of technology. Anyway, then we get a better look at the two goons at the bar, and you can see that these two are the exact same guys which we have seen in the cards already. And here we learn something really cool. You see, for the longest time, whenever Echo threw out his disc in-game, we didn't really know why it was dealing damage on the way out and on the way back. It is moving so slow, there is no real reason for it to do anything. But this cinematic finally reveals what that ability is supposed to do. Whenever it breaks apart, it slows time around it. But Echo can still move at normal speed. So theoretically, in-game, the ability could be explained as something like, when he throws it out, you do actually get slowed by the ability if you get hit. But also the damage comes from the fact that, you know, Echo can hit you while you are slowly moving, without you even knowing it. Regardless, I noticed something even weirder here. He doesn't have his rewind machine. You know, the one that allows him to travel back in time once he pulls the cord. I wonder if he either left it home, or if this is happening earlier in the story and he doesn't have it yet. Though it is also possible that he didn't need it for the cinematic and so Riot didn't give it to him for aesthetic reasons. They probably wanted to use the blue glowing colors to emphasize the tech that is being showcased here, as well as Echo's weapon. Having another kind of blue tech on his butt wouldn't really make sense. And after he grabs the Hexite crystal, that's when it starts feeling like he just doesn't have the device yet, and he is going to build it with this. And after he gets it, he tips over the Noxian piece, and that is supposed to indicate that he has won the game. That's really it for the cinematic. As I said, the story is relatively straightforward, so there wasn't much for me to break apart. However, there is one last cool detail. The music which Riot is using at the very end is a remastered version of Echo's theme. It is not the original, this one is slightly different. Which makes me think that it is possible that Echo will get his own board in the game, just like someone like Garen or Jinx. Jinx especially also got a remastered version of her own theme for the board. That's why I think that Echo will get his own board as well. But anyway, that's it for this quite quick video. With everything that is happening around the Ruination, it is nice to have a little break from that. Though we have still not covered the latest Ruination story, which might be a setup for the event, just like what was happening with Yasuo's story before the Spirit Blossom event. So brace yourselves, you will probably see a lot of sickly blue and green on this channel really soon.